Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm in Cave Rock, Illinois. I'm at the state park. Did a little camping. I stayed in the element there last night. Today I'm getting, let me flip you around and show you what we're getting ready to do. All right, so today what I'm going to be doing while I'm camping is I'm going to be cooking in a Dutch oven. Here's the inside of the oven. And the first task, or the first thing I'm going to fix is I'm going to try to make an apple pie in here. I got my wood drug up here. I got to get it cut up and get my fire going. And then I'll show you everything about the pie that I'm going to do it and how I'm going to do it. And then after we're done cooking the pie today, I'm going to put some ham and beans in here and cook that for supper tonight. So today's about cooking, camping and cooking. So right now the next task is get that fire going. Okay, I got a pretty good fire started there, and then I got some stuff cut up here for later, but that should make me some pretty good coals right there when it burns down. And I've never cooked with a Dutch oven before, so this is the first time. We may fail. I think there's a high likelihood that we will fail, but we're going to give it a shot. Just enjoy being outdoors and having fun. So now what I'm going to start doing is preparing the pie. And I just picked up a Pillsbury already made pie crust because it's in an aluminum pan, nice and neat. I didn't want to have to pack a whole lot because once I get the element packed up, there's not a whole lot of room left. So, and I got a $3 whole bag of apples. I'm gonna cut them up, put them in the pie. Not exactly the perfect knife, but it is sharp and we are camping. So these apples are fairly soft. They would not be great for eating because I like a crisp apple. It's kind of like applesauce and a peel. So it should make pretty good pie. I got another video of making apple pies. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put the link in the description. But see how that cord just pulled out of there? That's a little trick that I've learned. If you can tug on that cord and it pulls out really easy, that apple's going to be soft. I like to pass that along every chance I get. So what I'll do now is just cut nice little slices and drop them in there. And then we will finish until this pie crust is full. You know, I think I'd make a good camp cook if I was on a cattle drive about 150, 200 years ago. Okay, so I had 2 pie shells, so I figured go ahead and cut up all the apples and make 2. And my ingredients are simple. It's butter, sugar, flour, and cinnamon. That's it. And all I've got to mix those in is this Dutch oven. So I'm gonna do that first and then I'll wash it and then we'll start heating it up. The fire's going pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is put my ingredients in there. And the only thing I got to measure them with is this. But that's okay because I don't usually measure much anyway. I figure right about where my thumb is probably a cup. So we'll get those mixed up now. And then, so I got all my ingredients in there. And then all I'm doing is mashing them together until it's just real small crumbs. So this is a recipe. The crust is a top crumb crust. It's called a Dutch apple pie. So this is going to be pretty authentic. A Dutch apple pie made in a Dutch oven. Seems like a pretty good day if it turns out pretty good. Looks a little heavy on the butter. I may add a little more sugar and maybe a little more flour. It's real simple. It's a cup of sugar, 3/4 cup of flour, and a stick of butter, and then I add the cinnamon to flavor it. I'm gonna get this going. Guys, be sure to stick around. Once we get this on the fire, while it's cooking, we may run into town, show you the cave or something. Show you the ferry. There's a ferry. I can hear the ferry from where we're at. And there's our pies. Don't they look pretty good? I'm gonna cook this one first because this was my main pie. This was like my scraps, my leftover stuff. So I'm gonna put that one in here now. Okay. I'm gonna put that right there in the middle. Like that. Let me move it over towards this end. Then the trick is going to be getting these coals on the lid. See, that's how it's going to cook from the top down. Now what I'm going to do is take the ash and cover the coals. So that they cook nice so that they don't just burn out. Well, there it is. I'm going to let that cook for an hour and a half before I check it. And again, if you didn't hear, the purpose of that ash on top of the coals are hot. I want to just keep the wind off of them, keep the air off of them, and just keep them in there smoldering. So it keeps that lid good and hot, and I can keep feeding my fire from underneath. And like I said, I've never done this before. I seen one, 30-second video on YouTube showing me how to do it. So I'm going to see if I can do it. So we will go check some things out, and then we'll come back and check on it later. Okay, while the pies are cooking, we'll take you down here and show you the cave, why the town's called Cave-in Rock. Okay guys, I'm up here to Outlook. A lot of people don't get this view. Down there's the trail that'll take you to the cave. This is looking downstream towards Elizabethtown. Over there's the ferry. That's the bridge between Illinois and Kentucky from Cave-in Rock. Right there is the ferry. It runs, I believe, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's a pretty cool view here. Now we're facing uptown towards Cave-in Rock, and then down here's the trail that takes you into the cave. But as I was climbing up here, I got to thinking, think of all the people that have stood right here and right there. There was river pirates, Native American Indians that lived in the cave, and they'd probably have somebody up here keeping an outlook for people coming up and down the river. Pretty cool view right here. I could sit here and just take in the energy for quite a while. But we'll head down there and show you the cave. So right now the river's pretty low, but I've been here where the river was, right around in this area, so it's down quite a bit. It's been pretty dry for a while. We had one good rain not that long ago. We'll walk you up here to the cave. And the water's pretty clear right now too. One thing you'll notice is there's a lot of graffiti. I've always found it pretty intriguing to look at some of the dates, like right there, 1913. And they're all over. There's some really old ones in here. And you think, when I first came, I was thinking, okay, how would someone get up there in 1913? Think about that for a minute. I don't agree with all the graffiti, but some of them, the really old ones, are kind of neat. It looks like I may have the cave to myself. Now, if it's wet, this is really slippery. Today it's dry. It's been dry for a long time. It's well lit in here today, too. And then this is a really cool view out of the cave. Just let you enjoy that for a minute. And then think, when the world wasn't so busy, Maybe during the Civil War, not that long ago, people may have lived in here. The river pirates, Native Americans made this their home. I'll take you into the main part of it. There's a natural light coming in. You can see the big crack. And then you got natural light here. But just the way it's built up and then hollowed out here, they would have had their fires right here, and then the smoke could have went right up out. So they would have slept in here. So that's the first time I've ever had the cave all to myself. Really fortunate today. And then I'll tell you, the way I believe this graffiti was done in 1913 is they would have come in here in a boat when it was flooded, and the water would have been all the way up there. One thing I often like to do is come down here at the edge of the river and look for driftwood like smaller than this that I could take home, you know. And then just whatever's laying here. Unfortunately, there is a lot of trash. One cool thing I found today right here, what I believe these are is ribs out of a fish. But I think that Native Americans could use that. I mean, we could still use that as a needle. If you had like leather pants and you cut strips off, put you a hole in here to hold your leather strip, and then you could sew with that needle. Bone out of a fish just laying here on the riverbank. So what I'm gonna do, it's been over an hour and a half now. I'm gonna clean the top off, and all my charcoal's still in there. And then I'm gonna check it, see where we're at. And then, I don't know, we'll maybe cook it longer, maybe burn up, I just don't know. I want to get all that off there. Let me grab a broom real quick. All right, here goes. Give you the first look. Oh my goodness. So, I think it's going to be done. I'm going to, gosh, that's really something. I'm going to move this off the fire. Try to figure out how to get that pie out of there so it can start cooling off. I may go ahead and cook that other one. It's still early. It's about 2 o'clock. The ham and beans won't take that long, I don't think. So I'm going to see what I can do to get the other one going. All right, there it is. So it's actually pretty unbelievable. This backside here is kind of burnt, and it's really soupy looking. So what that tells me is they didn't have quite enough flour in there to absorb all the juice and the sugar and the butter. But that other pie, it's not. I thought this one would be better. Without having measuring cups to measure it, I was guessing by looks, and this one had a little more butter than I think I needed. So the other one, I'm gonna go ahead and get it on the fire. I think it might turn out perfect. We'll just give this one away. I didn't want to wait for the other one to get done. I was ready, so I got me a piece. There's what it kind of looks like. It ain't terrible, but I think that one's gonna be better. Okay, pie number 2. We'll see what happens. What's going on here? Yeah, I kind of burnt this one. So this one, I was gone a little longer than I expected. So we will, the fire went out, so it's actually cooled down a little bit. We'll go over here and pull it out. They look about the same. So what I'll do now is start my ham and beans. All right, so I just cleaned out my pot and greased it up, and then I'm gonna pour my beans in. And I will acknowledge right now that this is kind of cheating. I had a bag of beans in my hand that I could have soaked, but I didn't want to use the big Dutch oven. I wanted to do everything in one. So I didn't have anything else to soak them in, so I bought them already soaked, ready to go. Now I got my beans in, I'll put my meat in. Okay, what I thought was a ham hock at the store when I was in a big hurry happens to be pork jowl bacon. So I also got, hang on, I also got these, what I thought was ham steaks or pork chops. Either way, we got lots of pork and lots of fat to go in them beans. But I thought what I'd do real quick is brown up some of this bacon, save the grease, and I'm gonna cook my cornbread in that cast iron skillet so it'll be pre-greased. So I wish you had smell-o-vision because that smells amazing. So fried up my bacon. It's really fatty, but it's really good. And then I threw my pork chop in there, cut it up. Now I'm getting ready to put it in the beans. There's what it looks like. So now I gotta get it on the fire. All right, there it is, just like the pies. Now, see, I saved me a little spot right there. That's where my cornbread's gonna go. All right, so now here's the good part. So all that bacon grease I put in a plastic container I had there, just lined it with foil. Now, I made my Jiffy cornbread mix in my coffee pot. I'm gonna pour it in on top of that grease on the cast iron skillet, put foil over it, put it on the fire. Okay guys, there it is. Cornbread and the beans are going. Gonna give them 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're gonna check on the cornbread. Kind of nice just sitting here nice and quiet, enjoying the scenery. Hey, there's the beans. I just took them off. Now it's about 5:30. I'm gonna run over to the river real quick. I'm gonna let these cool down, and I'm gonna watch the sunset if I can. I'll take you with me. And before I go, I'll show you the cornbread. Now this is the bottom. I got a little bit overcooked, but you can see it's fine. It'll go in them beans and it'll be great. I can actually eat that piece right there. I've been sampling it, it's really good. So right now, let's go over to the river and watch the sunset. I just elected to walk down here to the where I'm gonna watch the sunset. And there's 3 deer, just watching what I'm doing. Well guys, I don't think there's gonna be a sunset quite like I was hoping for tonight, where you could see the sun just drop into the trees and the water. But I wish he was here with me, because this is what it's all about. This makes me feel like I'm living right. Slow it down a little bit, get outdoors. Enjoy the simplest of things that happens every day. Hey guys, that's it from Cave and Rock State Park. I hope you like what you saw. If you're new to the channel, think about hitting that subscribe button for us. We do lots of fun things outdoors. We try to keep the expenses low, and we share it with you along the way. As always, we thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one.